Roots in Reciprocity, Tree Soul's sculptural depiction of the African spiritual core. Sprouting from the earth, Tree Souls, a wooden copper-cladded sculptural installation handcrafted in 1994 by Alison Saar, presents reciprocity as the heart of African spirituality. Influenced by African and Afro-Caribbean spiritual traditions and art, Saar is a preeminent American sculptor known for manipulating found objects to represent spiritual forces while simultaneously imbuing each piece with their own metaphysical life. Standing at 16 feet tall and 176 pounds each, the two figures that make up Tree Souls are feats of engineering. Each figure and the roots that act as feet connecting them to the ground below are hand-carved from fallen trees near Saar's home, evoking a sense of otherworldliness as they appear to be almost impossibly balancing on nearly 1 inch in diameter stilts. Expertly crafted by the taming of her chainsaw, Saar's technique unearths the figure's souls, excavating their likeness through ardent sculpting and receiving metaphysical embodiments in return. Sculpture as a devotional hands-on artistic practice hints at the symbiotic essence of the African spirituality, and this method supplies an allegory for the reciprocal relationship between human and divine. Extending beyond the mode of creation, the form and content of Tree Souls divulge a core facet of African spirituality, highlighting nature's role in bridging the terrestrial and divine. The roots that tether the figures to the earth suggest a metaphysical, codependent relationship between humanity and nature. The wooden, copper-cladded roots, weathered and oxidized identically to the figures, appear to be extensions of the feminine and masculine forms. As the roots provide nutrients or spiritual guidance to the two mortal forms, the upward gazes of the figures demonstrate the influx of human experiences that, in turn, galvanize the spiritual force beneath them. In 2011, temporarily situated in New York City's Madison Square Park, the figures were once privy to the inner workings of the city. Placed overlooking benches and gathering areas, they consume the lives of the city's inhabitants, providing fodder for the souls within them. Through this symbiotic and reciprocal process, aptly paralleling photosynthesis, Saar's Tree Souls visualize African spirituality's foundational belief that the divine and nature are one, expounding that embracing nature brings humanity closer to the divine. Tree Souls depicts humanity in nature's embrace as a physical fusing of two entities, where Nigerian sculptor Pejuela Tisa's 2021 steel and granite resin cast God is a Little Girl, however, honors this relationship through a more conceptual visual landscape. In God is a Little Girl 2, a young girl bends over to pick flowers. The reflective blue hue of the sculpture imbues the figure and the identically colored surrounding floral scape with an ethereal tone and implies a metaphysical oneness. As the coloration and title support, this simple, innocent act symbolizes a spiritual connection that mirrors the one expounded through the literal merging of humanity and nature in Tree Souls. While thematically similar, Tree Souls departs from God is a Little Girl 2 in that it centers on the reciprocal core of African spirituality. Where God is a Little Girl 2 depicts a spiritually connected young girl inclined to take what she needs from the natural world, Tree Souls illustrates a dependence on the generosity of both nature and humanity to connect to the divine. Ultimately, Alison Saar's Tree Souls exposes reciprocity as the core of African spirituality through the intimate practice of the figure's sculptural construction, as well as the visual display that casts the symbiotic relationship between humanity and nature as the source of divine connection.